It seems that nearly every spring is the same. After a long, cold winter, the ice finally melts. The flowers start to bloom and the birds return. But my favorite part is that I finally get to return to the water. This year, however, was a little bit different. It's not every year that a global phenomena coincides with the opening of canoe season. So with what could possibly be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I set out to chase the eclipse of 2024. This is the short story of that adventure. This trip for me was a little bit unexpected. We'd had an unusually warm winter in southern Ontario, and the ice was off quite early. All I'd been hearing about on the news was this eclipse, and I wondered, would I be able to see this from a backcountry canoe trip? Sure enough, when I looked at the map, I noticed that Frontenac Provincial Park, just north of Kingston, Ontario, was in the path of Totality. I felt like I couldn't pass on the opportunity to not only get back on the water, but to have the opportunity to film an eclipse on a backcountry canoe trip. It sounds perfect to me. Well, it's that time of year again, back on the water. It's early April and I'm in Frontenac Provincial Park for the next 3 days. I'm gonna do some camping, some fishing, and if all goes to plan, hopefully, fingers crossed, get to see the eclipse that's coming in 2024. It seems to be a big talking point for everyone. Feels so incredibly good to be back out on the water. Definitely feel a little bit rusty, slightly uneasy. Oh, it just feels unbelievable. I had relatively low expectations of my trip to Frontenac. It's classified as a semi-wilderness park, and I'm honestly not even sure what that means. But I definitely didn't expect wildlife to be a theme here. I ended up, though, having some really cool experiences with some different wildlife along my route. In fact, it only took a few minutes before I heard some turkeys in the distance and was able to get a couple decent shots of the tom fanning out and strutting through the bush.
that was incredibly cool. I just saw probably 15 turkeys. And the male was all fanned out, showing off. It's that time of year. It's a good start to the trip. Paddling along here, and it's so open in the bush that I was able to spot a porcupine up in the tree, which, if there was foliage, you'd absolutely never, ever, ever see. Let me see if I can get a better shot of him here.
Turkeys, porcupine, ducks, and geese, and I hadn't even made it past the first real portage. Any doubts that I had that this wasn't going to be an interesting trip were quickly put to rest, and I couldn't have been more happy to be back out on the water.
I've made it onto Big Clear Lake and completed that 800 or 900 meter portage that leads in from Devil Lake, which is pretty steep there at the beginning. Quite a pretty portage, but definitely proves that I'm a little bit rusty, a little bit out of shape here. I probably should have spent a bit more time at the gym this off season, but seeing as the ice is out real early, I should have lots of time to get myself back in shape here. I've only got a few hundred meters to paddle before I get to the campsite, which I've booked, and I am very much looking forward to getting to camp and hanging out. It's going to be a very, very easygoing evening for me. Just enjoy being outside. Gorgeous, gorgeous here. Wow.
Eventually, after a short paddle, I'd find my campsite for the night. I always find it funny how everything seems so normal out here. I hadn't camped in months, but setting up the tarp and the air mattress, making my meal, and going to bed with a good book in my hand is just second nature. I'd only been out here for a matter of hours, but already felt more relaxed than I'd been in months. I couldn't have asked for a better first day on the water.
Morning of day 2, and me and Betty Lou are out to do a little bit of exploring today. Slept like an absolute baby last night. I was so tired. I've been up late the day before and up early to get here yesterday, and honestly it was a little bit tougher than I expected. Just super pumped to explore Frontenac today. I don't really have any goals other than to make a little loop out of the next 4 or 5 lakes. See if there's any wildlife and just enjoy the scenery. Absolutely gorgeous day here.
I don't often have days like this. I try to do trips that are a little bit more demanding and difficult. Trips where I don't really have time to putter around. But I think I'll have to do this a little bit more often, because it ended up being one of the nicest and most relaxing days I've ever had on a canoe trip. After I'd finished the first portage, I noticed that there was an eagle chasing after some crows, which I can't say as I've seen before. It's normally the other way around. Eventually I'd watched as the eagle landed on the opposite shore. I could tell it was feeding on something, but I had no idea what it was.
Just been watching this, looks like a young bald eagle, or maybe it's a golden eagle. I'm not sure if they're this far south, but it's been fighting off these crows. It's got something on the shoreline here. I tried to sneak up and get a little bit closer, but it's up in the tree now. They call this a semi-wilderness park, but honestly I feel like I've seen a lot of wildlife here so far. Day 2, I've seen eagles, heard beavers last night, ducks, geese, porcupine. What else have I seen, Lou? Hey, what else was there? Turkeys. The turkeys were gobbling again this morning. Pretty cool.
I'd paddle across to try and get a better shot of the eagle and see what it was feeding on. Ended up finding a deer carcass. As much as no one likes to see dead animals, clearly nothing was going to waste here, and this is nature's way.
Just made it onto Big Salmon Lake, and I feel like I keep repeating myself here, but another absolutely stunning lake. It seems very quiet here today too. I've seen a couple backpackers on the trail, otherwise nobody on the water today. Just me and the eagles and Lou and some loons. What a place. I honestly don't think you could ask for a nicer day. Holy man, is this ever beautiful. Amazing. This Christmas I got a macro lens for my camera, and I've been playing around with shooting insects and stuff, and it's like a whole different world. I absolutely love filming large mammals and birds, but honestly looking at spiders and ladybugs, anything, crickets, when you can get that close to them, it's insane. I just had this little water spider in my canoe. Spent a couple minutes just filming them, but it's just a whole different world that you're not used to seeing. You know, you can see a moose up close and it looks like a moose, but seeing a spider or any insect up close, it's crazy. All the little hairs on them, it's unreal. Unreal. I'm almost back at the camp. Really impressed. It is stunning here. Really beautiful. That was such a good day. I honestly was not expecting a whole lot coming out here to Frontenac. You know, it's only half an hour from a major city in Kingston, and it has been absolutely awesome the last couple days. Tomorrow I've got the eclipse that, fingers crossed, the clouds are gone and it's a clear sky. It would be amazing to witness that out here. It'd be really cool. Another gorgeous morning here in Frontenac, and today is the big eclipse day. So I'm just on my way back out to Devil Lake, and I'm gonna try and find a spot where I can set up and get a really good view of the eclipse. It looks like the sky might be clearing up, and I'm really hoping it is, because it'd be extremely cool to get a good shot of the eclipse. But anyways, regardless, I think today is going to be another awesome day. A couple hours to make my way to where I'm hoping to see the eclipse, which I was looking on the map last night, and there's a little Crownland island that's kind of got a good view to the southwest. So we'll see if that spot's going to work out. Should be a great day. Crazy how just a couple days being back out here, feel super relaxed and definitely getting back into the swing of things. It really doesn't take very long at all. Day one, it felt like it was my first canoe trip I'd ever been on, and today's day 3 now. Oh, feels like I could spend the rest of my life out here. Even the portages feel easier. So I finally found a spot here, and it's decent. It's not the best spot in the world, but honestly, it'll do. It's a little tiny Crownland island, and I can just get the camera set up here. So, and I just put on my super glasses here, and I can actually see that the eclipse has started. It's maybe a quarter of the way. I can see it right through the clouds, which is kind of wild.
Well, this was it. All I could do now was hold the camera steady and hope that the clouds would clear. sitting on that tiny little island, watching the moon slowly covering the sun. I honestly don't know if I'll ever feel as small or as insignificant as I did that day, yet so connected to everything around me. It's truly a moment in my life that I'll remember forever, and the best way I could think of to start the paddling season.